This week on Supercars Talk, lemonade is the drink of choice. I've got a new COVID haircut, and I announced Jamie Whincup's replacement. The big news this week, Mr. Burns has told me to shave those sideburns, and I got myself a COVID haircut. Yeah, it was just getting too long, had to go. One thing though, it will prove if Mum is watching these videos, because sure enough, I will get a message or a phone call, what the hell have you done to your hair again? Well, sorry Mum, it is what it is, you gotta live with it. So the news people actually care about this week is who's going to be Jamie Whincup's replacement, and the big news, drum roll please, it is Brock Feeney. This video is either going to age like a fine wine, and I'm going to look like a genius, or you know, the fraud that I am is going to come out, and I'm going to look like an idiot, because they haven't actually announced yet. I do not know. I'm just using my powers of deduction, let's say that. Really, they're talking about youth and, you know, getting a Jamie Whincup type in and all that kind of stuff, which kind of, with them grooming Brock Feeney, and is there someone really a Jamie Whincup type available? And they're not like their Formula One counterparts at Red Bull, where, you know, as Helmut Marko, you know, as the winds change, he just, you know, changes which drivers he likes and, you know, throws them out and throws them in, and they come in and out and whatnot. Triple A, you know, they sign someone up and stick with them long term. So I can't see them going for, you know, a Heimgartner would be a very good choice, but it seems that if you get someone like that, it's a stopgap until Brock Feeney's ready. So essentially, I think they've just decided to bite the bullet and run with Brock Feeney, and you know, and until he is ready, you know, a year or so of pain, you've still got Shane that's going to go and win everything. So you might lose the team's championship, but you know, in that car, Brock's still going to do a good enough job for that. The other most viable, I suppose, candidate, if you really wanted someone to just go in and take it to Shane straight away, would be Cam Waters. Tim Edwards has been in a few interviews. He didn't seem overly concerned about the driver lineup for next year, so I think Cam is sorted there. And then the other guys like your Jaimes, Fullwood, Hazelwood, etc., they feel a bit stopgappy. The only possible maybe outside thing maybe would be, you know, a last ride for Garth Tander, while they get, you know, Brock gets another year of experience. But yeah, it's going to be Brock. Unless it's not, and then probably you're going to watch this after the announcement and I'm going to look like an idiot. The ESeries was back this week. Yes, I did watch it. Yes, I was kind of doing some work in the background, but yeah, it was okay. I probably paid more attention to the, I can't remember which is the pro or whatever, the actual drivers, the oval race. I paid a bit more attention to that than the, you know, the ESeries kind of professional guys. The whole oval thing, as a novelty, yeah, but this is going to be for the whole series. Do we really need it? I mean, Dave Reynolds and Rick Kelly aren't there this year. And speaking of people who weren't there, where was Triple A? I can understand Jamie not wanting to turn up, but nothing was kind of said, and it was where was Shane Van Gisbergen? And he was one of the standouts in it last year, so I was a little bit surprised not to see them. Like, there was no representation from the team. What's going on there? I'm a sucker for the whole Supercars and the series and everything, so I'll tune in again this week. But yeah, I think I'd prefer to see them on some proper tracks and have a bit of a novelty of, you know, an oval here and there. Great to see Neil Crompton back commentating. They seemed to get a bit lost during the race. You could see what Chaz Mostert was doing, and that was going to be a brilliant strategy move until it all wasn't such greatness and he got taken out or whatever happened. I didn't really take notes during the race because, yeah, it's the ESeries. We lost interest in really reporting on the races pretty quickly last year. But yeah, down in the comments, tell me what you thought of it if you did actually watch it. They are now talking about a potential December date for Bathurst. This is because the way everything's going, we're probably not going to have crowds. I mean, we've got to get COVID haircuts again now, so that shows you how great things are going down in kind of eastern southern states. The idea is if it gets delayed until December, that hopefully we'll be able to have crowds there. The way things are going at the moment, don't think there's going to be crowds. We're probably not going to be allowed out of Victoria. Gladys seems to be a little bit more forthcoming with easing restrictions if everyone gets vaccinated, but then everyone has to get vaccinated for that to happen. So, you know, and then we start getting... Gold Coast is the first weekend of December. Do we want to cancel or shift that for the sake of, you know, when we could be running Bathurst earlier? And then if we run Bathurst then after the Gold Coast, I think it starts to get into the Ashes telecast because Channel 7 is still, you know, that's the jewel in the Channel 7 crown for the whole Supercars thing for the whole year. So that they, of course, want to televise it. And a lot of this having to have so many rounds is all around kind of the television deal and that. So I think... I'm not big on the cricket, but yeah, I think it starts to get into that kind of cricket territory there. So that could be an issue. Really, I'd prefer to, if we have the opportunity to run it as soon as possible, I would take it because we don't know. In theory, it is going to be better over summer because the virus has less chance of in the hotter climate, apparently. And there should be more people vaccinated, so that should be helping it. But with this whole thing, we just never know kind of day to day what is going on. It looks like the teams might be selling their stake in the series as part of the overall Archer sale. So I think it is Archer owns 65% and the team still own 35% of Supercars. I think this is a great idea if the new owner can own the whole thing, because then we wouldn't so much with, say, the whole Gen 3 paddle shift argument, you know, you kind of, it's not going to be one person in control, but you essentially have one controlling interest that goes, right, we want to go back to H patterns because that's what the fans want. We want it to be more spectacular. We're going to cut even more downforce out, give the cars more power, you know. What could go wrong with all of that? That's what we all want to see, isn't it? Instead, at the moment, because the teams have so much say in that, you get people with their vested interests that, no, I really want paddle shift and want to push it through, and, you know, no one else's opinion matters and all of that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I can only see this as, you know, enhancing the sport, and the teams will miss out on some revenue from that side of things, but if the whole sport is doing better, the profits go up, which means your racing entitlements, contract income becomes bigger because you get a bigger slice of the pie in theory. So it'd be interesting to see how all of that pans out. Speaking of Gen 3 as well, it's come out that they're doing a lot of CFD modelling with the cars following each other to see how the downforce actually does react. So that in the reduction of downforce, you're not getting this massive where you're following someone now and you're losing a massive amount of downforce. And this is where it is great that the series is actually designing these aero kits, because previously the teams went off and did it themselves and basically they had to pass a test. So they would design it so that it will pass the test, but do all of these other things. Whereas now with the series can look at it more an overall approach, so it all works together properly, so that we don't get the GT3 Mustang and things like that. That it all kind of works together, and the objectives of what we want are actually achieved. Finally, this week, just a couple of little housekeeping things before I go. I had a few comments from people about the whole Renee Gracie thing. I think people missed the message a little bit there. I'm not against females in the sport. I mean, I was a big fan of Simona and was hoping that she wasn't leaving and all that, because, where's the next kind of female coming, and there isn't that, role model for young girls to look up to, and people thought that, I was saying against women. I'm definitely not against women in the sport. I'm against someone like Renee Gracie. I think now she's probably in there for the wrong reasons. Earlier on, they did take advantage of her looks, I suppose, Carmen Jorda style. The looks have then continued on, and the lifestyle and how she kind of is earning her income now, and that is different to probably what we should be looking at. And I'm not against females. If there was a male that was, just in there for his looks and because he was an adult performer or whatever, I'd be saying the same thing. Let's not include him in the sport either. And finally, someone sent me a Zoom invitation last week. Not mentioning any names on here, but I did get it, but the link didn't work, so we couldn't tee up a meeting. If you do want to do something like that, shoot me an email, supercarstorque@gmail.com, and we can probably tee something up as well. Keep the emails coming. I think I've replied to everybody in there, and down in the comments I try to reply to everyone as we go along. It's great, the little community that we seem to be getting on here now. So yeah, keep them coming. Blows me away. People seem to really enjoy the Glenn Seaton interview. That was awesome. Let's hope I can do some more of those kind of things in the future. Until next time, I'm still Dave, and I'll catch you later.